Testing. Are we here? Yes, I've arrived. This is another side fire chat, number 4. I believe it's number 4. I'll be joined today by Rossi Mack, a great homie and collaborator of Fancy Footwork promo. I'll be speaking with him once he joins me on the line. This is great. This is spectacular. Let me fix my mustache. Fix my mustache. For those who can see me on Instagram Live, I go live currently from Anyi Malik, ANYIMALIK, on Instagram. But you can catch these. They'll be broadcasted new side fire chats every Friday from No Fingerprints Media. And I'm just waiting for the folks to join me now. And we'll just be getting started. I've known brother Rossi Mack for quite some time. And he's assisted me, or he's worked with me on quite a few of my releases. And so, okay. And you can find him, Rossi Mack, on Instagram at Beats by Rossi, ROSSI, BATSBYROSSI. The brothers joined me. Let's see if I reach out. Yeah. What's going on, Mr. South? Snap, let me change my camera view. What's going on, bruh?
What's up with it?
Shit. How you been, man?
Shit, man. Fucking living with COVID, man.
It's definitely an interesting era, man, and I'm glad you found some time to tap in with me.
Yeah, man. What a time to be alive, huh?
Man, you really feel alive just by being alive, while folks is struggling or going through extra means just life, what we call life and living, not just breathing, but like actually living and thriving is is taking on a whole different meaning.
Yeah.
Let me get you to do me a favor real quick. Could you just pan down a little bit so I can get or sit up so I can
I
get
got
you
this,
all up
man.
in
I
the.
got this there. It's my iPad, and I'm in the car, so I'm trying to. It's harder to angle it than my phone. You feel me? Because I don't even got Instagram on my phone.
It's all good.
Try
I
to
just
keep
don't
that
want
shit
to. I
off
just
my phone.
because I'm gonna put
Hold on.
this on the. Okay, yeah, do your thing. I'm gonna
Let
put
me
this
see
on
if
the
I can. I
YouTube.
might even sit in the back seat or something. You feel me? I don't know. Let me see.
That's good. I just didn't want to get too much head space on you. I didn't want to get too much head space.
There we go.
Blessings, man. So I'm hyped to have you here, man, on the side fire chat. It's no fireside. It's not a fireside chat. There's no fireplace here, but it is happening on the side, and it is fire. How I reach out to folks that I've worked with, collabed with, and know just in creativity and in several industries and movements, and you definitely one of them brothers that I appreciate and wanted to link up with and celebrate and talk to you a bit about some of your approaches and philosophies and experiences uh, in creativity. So please let me.
Yeah.
I know you a certain way. I know you from we went to the same high school, and then we reconnected actually at Diablo Valley College way back way back,
Yeah.
with the Ghetto Reserve.
925-ish.
Yeah, with the GR. And but
Yeah,
we both hella
925-ish,
evolved. So
man.
without me breaking down your whole biography, I want to invite you, man, to kind of, you know, because like I said, I know you as an artist. You mixing, mastering, rapping, produce beats, and you also head Fancy Footwork Promo, which is like a fully functional, expansive promotional company. And so, kind of,
Yeah.
if you could break down, if you can break down your resume, your pedigree for those listening, how you came from an artist, and put your seatbelt on.
Now I'm trying to get this damn fly out of here, man. Fly's fucking with me. Yeah, so let's see. High school, like everybody that's like 14, 15, everybody wanna be involved in the industry in some way, shape, or form. Um, so you feel me? I was doing the going to studios with my homies thing, you know what I'm saying? Like high school, like my first high school was St. Mary's High School in Berkeley. You feel me? And I had a couple homies that went there with me, and we was the first ones to really be like, let's go to the studio together. You feel me? So we was doing that. That was me and my boy Marcus, and my other homie Brian, and the producer at the time was a brother named Khalid Meeks. You feel me? And that was back in fucking 2000. 99 for the 99 and the 2000. That's what that was. You feel me?
Back
We
when
was trying to
Cash
get
Money
this.
was taking over, huh?
Yeah, that's when Cash Money
Huh?
was taking over. We was trying to get up in the studio. So, um, fast forward a tiny bit. You feel me? Had a little incident where it wasn't no serious incident. It was more so just just not really doing my schoolwork type of thing. But they was like, yeah, we can't have you in school. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You ain't doing right by your curriculum, so you kind of gonna make us look bad if you don't. Because basically, the school I was going to, they had a graduation rate. You know what I'm saying? So people that they let into their school had a certain rate of going to a certain prestigious level of college or whatever when they graduate. So anybody that wasn't on that track to go to fucking Stanford or Cal or whatever, they was like, oh yeah, we kind of got to get these guys up out of here. It's gonna fuck our record. So anyway, I might be talking too much about the school and shit. You feel me? But that's
No,
how I
man.
felt
I
about it
mean, it
because
is what
it
it
went
is,
down. It was like, yeah, like you know what I'm saying. So you feel me? Get kicked out of there, end up going to Berkeley High School, which is where I really wanted to go in the first place. But yeah. So go to Berkeley High School, end up linking up with some other cats on the same type of page, like let's do music. You feel me? So yeah, just high school, going to people's houses that made beats and the freestyle ciphers and all that type of stuff. You know, everything that young hip hop artists do and try to do and want to do. You feel me? So. Um, before I graduated high school, which I didn't graduate high school actually, but you know, before the high school time period was over, you feel me? I spent my senior year um, actually doing independent studies. So St. Mary's, Berkeley High, I did the Berkeley High thing for like a year and a half, and then like towards the end of the Berkeley High thing, I decided to do the East Campus independent studies. So senior year, it seemed like I had a lot of time on my hands for still being in high school because all I was really doing was going over to East Campus for these little meetings, basically, where they tell you to work and then you go home or whatever. So, like, my days was open. So, my boy Hassan, who is one of the brothers I was doing music with since high school, he actually some kind of way had an internship at the Grill Recording Studios in Emeryville. And this was right when they around the time when they moved that studio to Emeryville because it was in East Oakland before. It was like at somebody's house. So fast forward, he's like, bro, you trying to do this internship with me at the Grill? I'm like, hell yeah. So I start going up to the Grill and messing with Lev, and this is so this is like
It's like
2001.
'01. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2001. So it's artists in there like Jay Steinlin and people
Dang,
before.
way back. Damn.
Yeah, this was before he had the live wire. So
Mm-hmm.
when Jay Stylin first was, I mean, I don't know the brother like that, but basically what I'm saying is when I first was going there, he was up under Richie Rich. That's
Okay.
that you feel me. So Rich had him in the Grill because the Grill is Rich Studio. You feel me. So he was up in there with a group called The Replacement Killers, and that was Vail, PSD, Styling, and some another artist. I believe it was 4 artists, but I'm not positive. But yeah, that was like Rich came out with an album called Nixon Pryor Roundtree, which is basically like Richard Nixon, Richard Pryor, Richard Roundtree, Richie Rich.
Yeah, no, I
So
remember that.
that yeah, that was
Was
my
that
little time.
what I ain't gonna do on there?
Yeah, exactly. That was like the album with Jay Styling's first. Like everybody's like, who is this nigga? This nigga going like so. That I was around for the recording of that. So times when I would be popping up in the studio to go mess with the beats upstairs, they be in there in the main room mixing songs and stuff. And back then, Jason Moss was still there, and he moved to L.A. and started doing big shit down there. But that was his time period in there. Who else, man? I bumped into a bunch of cats up there, but that was a time when I was like, man, I think I really want to try to do this. And I want to learn the beats. I want to learn production. I want to know how to do everything myself pretty much. So I went into the whole trying to learn everything myself thing, which
So
I
what was
wouldn't
some of the
necessarily recommend.
what was the first equipment that you learned on?
Well, the first things I touched was pretty much MPCs. So my cousin had a studio on my dad's side. My cousin had a studio in West Oakland, and they were a group back in the day called the Boogie Shack, and they had a studio which was like they would throw house parties at their spot. You feel me? Boogie Shack. So, and it was right there on 23rd and San Pablo. So I would go over there when I was younger and go up in the studio and be like, just looking around because I was interested. So he had an MPC 2000 in there, and that was like not long after they came out, probably. So it was still new equipment, but I seen that and seen the little 16 pads on it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what I want to mess with right there, the MPC. So I didn't really get to mess with it at his spot. I think I might have turned it on and hit the pads a couple times, but at the grill, I really started messing around with the MPC 3000 because Lev Burlack, he was like the main dude running it with Rich. He had he still has, but he had the MPC 3000, the limited edition one, and it was like the main MPC or the regular model was like cream color or whatever, but this one was like all black with like little swirls on it, and it was, what I'm saying, it was a limited edition, you feel me? So I'm like, oh, I'm messing with the limited edition one, you know what I'm saying? So, I kind of learned how to hit the record, play, start, and start to form a little loop and stuff like that when I was there. And I remember one time, probably one of the most memorable times from the grill was one day I went up there and I wanted to just go up there and be upstairs because upstairs is where they had the production room. So the drum machine and all the sound modules and the keyboards was up these stairs and shit. So one day I was up there. I'd probably been in there for like 30 minutes, and I was just really trying to teach myself this stuff because back then there wasn't no YouTube, and if you didn't have a mentor, somebody to really just show you how to do it, you had to just mess with it and figure it out yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in there messing with it, and the door opens up, and it's Lev, and he with Rick Rock, right? And I'm like, at this time, I knew his face, but I wasn't connecting like, oh, this Rick Rock, I need to, you feel me, pick his brain, you feel me? I was just like, you feel me? He came in, it was basically like, hey, Rick need to use the equipment. And I'm like, all right, for sure. So I kind of just get up and I walk out the room, you feel me? And I regret that shit to this day because what I should have did was been like, hey, bro, you mind if I shadow you and watch you make beats for a little while? And I know you would have said, yeah, because he a cool ass dude, you feel me? So, you know what I mean? That was a memory from the grill, though, like getting booted off the equipment right quick, you feel me? Because Rick Rock had to probably do something for Jay-Z or something like that. So I dropped the ball on that one. But, you live and you learn.
They say get off the sticks for the play.
Yeah, exactly. Get off the sticks, bro.
So at what point? Because I came, I reconnected with you in what 02, 03, and at DVC with the Ghetto Reserve, or not even the. I mean, that's what y'all was rapping under, but it was really a whole studio situation at Diablo Valley College where they had the whole like they had
Yeah.
I don't know how they didn't think that fools was just going to just turn that out into just like a bunch of just like a rap school. It became a low key rap school, but I don't think they knew that, and I don't
Yeah,
think
it
they had
became like,
intended it for it to be
yeah,
like one motherfucker went to class here, but it would be 30 motherfuckers there dropping verses and shit.
everybody, yeah, everybody had their little spot to go blow at, like in the cut, like, oh, we about to go burn one right quick. We got to go up over here down the stairs. Don't nobody come over here, like that type of shit. Yeah, we turned that out.
But I
We
kind of,
turned that
I
out.
kind of, I kind of look back kind of fondly on them years creatively as like a period to where I was I was experimenting with audio production and just recording my own voice and getting familiar with my own voice on wax. And so I kind of, especially like collaborations too. I mean, I worked with a lot of brothers. I worked with a lot of brothers in that era, y'all included. But I always look at that time period as like one of the shaping kind of the foundations of my own artistry, And so I'm curious about you, like from explain to me that 2002 2003 era and what you extracted from your time over in them classrooms in them audio labs and stuff like that. Like how did those times kind of inform you as an artist and beat maker and producer and also a businessman today, because they was dropping a lot of business too.
Yeah, man, the DVC thing, that whole time period, I'm not gonna say it's a blur, but in a lot of ways it is, because there was a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Usage and getting drunk, and it was we was we was looking at the music. I'm gonna speak from my perspective. I was seeing what was being pushed on us, like all the music, that the mainstream music and all this type of stuff, and the music I grew up listening to and all that type of stuff. It makes you susceptible to the shit. Put it like that. You feel me? Like it does influence you, no matter how you say, oh no, music don't influence people to go out and do stuff. I mean, in the reality, the shit you listen to, if you turn around and start rapping about that shit, but you ain't doing it, that shit influenced you. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna
And that
say
was
that
right
all
around the era. That was right around the time of
is
the Mac Dre. Yeah, Mac Dre's passing. Was that 2002,
2004.
2004?
2004 he died, yep.
And so like right after that was when the Bay Area was just kind of just hypercharged on like the word hyphy and risky behavior and sideshows and shit was already a part of
Yeah.
the awareness back then. But when Mac Dre had been murdered, that kind of brought, because he was already rapping about a lot of it too. Even though it was like it was a lot associated with Oakland. But when he passed, because he was celebrating and championing it in his lyrics, but when he passed, it kind of put everything on the map. And I think people went even double down and went further into the hyphy abyss,
For
so
real,
to
yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
And so sort of explain that time if you could, like, the impact of being over there coinciding with the loss of Mac Dre and kind of the ripple effect it had on the community.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seemed like everybody that was either in one of them, like what classes did we take? Like Logic Pro. I think that was like Logic 6 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we might have took a Pro Tools class or something, but like that was all like real foundational, because that was the beginning of DAWs. You feel me? Like that
Mm-hmm.
was the beginning of really people having studios on computers. You feel me? So
DAWs is digital audio workstations. For
exactly.
those
So
for those listening that don't know what a DAWs is, they like DAWs, like my
yeah,
kill.
yeah.
So I just
So
wanted to
good.
break it down.
So good. So basically, that was a new thing for all of us. Some of us took to it a little quicker than others. Like I didn't really like Logic like that, but I had to learn to use it. I kind of geared towards the Pro Tools thing. I picked up Reason in that time period, so I was on the Reason 3 when I was learning how to make beats with computer software. Because although the MPC is like was the preferable thing at that time, they was expensive. You feel me? So if you didn't have $2,000 to just go spend on a drum machine, you couldn't do it. So people would have a hacked copy of Reason or something. That's how it started. You know what I'm saying? Reason 3. And just being around all the different people, because basically 925 going to that school, you feel me? I was able to connect with cats that was going out there from Richmond, cats that was going out there from Pittsburgh and Antioch, people that was in Concord. So I
It
met a
was
lot
kind of
of
like a little middle point where a lot of
exactly.
East Bay and North Bay would converge.
Yeah, so it was a lot. It was a lot going on with that. It was really people from everywhere, man. There's people from Frisco,
Yeah.
Oakland. Like, it was a real melting pot in the East Bay because everybody wanted to go to Concord because all the girls was in Concord, Pleasant Hill. So you know what I'm saying, it was like, you feel me? Go to DVC. You feel me? Catch the BART. I used to blow big on the BART on the way to DVC, bro. Not to sidetrack it, but you know how the last few stops before you get to Pleasant Hill Station, if you want a very fast car, everybody done already got off the train and like
Right.
Coconut Creek and so if you in that very last car, you got just enough time to fire up a blunt, and by the time you get to Pleasant Hill, you can be already walked through the cars. So you're not coming off the one with the smoke coming out the door. You coming out way down here, right? Yeah, that shit was fun. But yeah, we had a show out there actually too at the Timeout Bar around the 2003. It might have even been 2000. It might have been on our, because we went to DVC twice. Some of us. I went there right out of high school. You feel me? But then I stopped going for a minute, and then I tried to go again. I think when we went again was when we had the show, because I remember distinctly we opened up for Jay Styling, and the bill was hella long. Like, it was hella artists on the bill. But I remember Doobie was there. And Doobie was grooving to our song when I was my verse was first. So I'm sitting there rapping. I'm like, this nigga Doobie like my shit. Okay, that shit was funny. 2005 was like fucking 19, 20, 21.
So you was
That
you was
jumping.
commuting. You was commuting out there on BART. You was commuting out there on BART from Berkeley, right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. It's just
Okay,
choppy
yeah.
because I'm far away from the Wi-Fi.
It's all good. So you was commuting from Berkeley. You went to Berkeley High, St. Mary's High. Grew up in Berkeley, the Berkeley area, and you represent Berkeley in a lot of different ways. Not just vocally, but Berkeley is a city that put a lot of activism on the map. And you're very vocal. How is the city of Berkeley kind of shaped and guided your development as an artist? You being from there, not the city itself, but you being in that environment.
Yeah.
How did that inform you then and currently inform you as an artist and some of the decisions you make today?
I mean, Berkeley is a real diverse place. I grew up across the street from, I believe they were Pakistani. Right, one of my first places I was living, not the very first place because we bounced around Berkeley a lot, but I was living on Dwight Way, and Dwight Way, it was essentially Dwight Way and Ellsworth. So for people that know that area, I was about 5 or 6 blocks away from University of Cal Berkeley. So I'm like right up on the university. So at a young age, a lot of my neighbors was Cal students, you know what I'm saying? And when I was like 7 years old or something, and I had a neighbor across the way from me, and he taught me how to play chess. And it was a trip because, long story short, you feel me, my father wasn't around when I first was growing up. So I ended up meeting my pops when I was 10. So at 10 years old, I freaked him out because I played him at chess. You feel what I'm saying? Like, when he first was meeting me, getting to know me and shit, you feel me? He was just fascinated, like, man, I got a son, and but he didn't think I was gonna know what chess pieces was going which way and all that type of stuff. He had no idea. So um now Cal and Berkeley and just that environment itself, um, it just gave me a sense of being able to be around different types of people, to learn from different types of people, to not block out people because of their background. Because a lot of people in the world do that, you know what I'm saying? They see somebody and they just assume off top, you feel me? Now, we all might have our, in the back of our head thoughts, but, you know what I'm saying? You can't just assume somebody's a certain way without speaking to them and talking to them. And, you know, Berkeley is a hell of a place, man. I love being in Berkeley. You
Oh,
feel me?
definitely. Yeah. I even appreciate,
I don't know what else.
not just like not just Berkeley, just the whole Bay Area, and just the whole Bay Area kind of laid a lot of the groundwork of where we are as a society today, and some of the things that is on the forefront of current topics of discussion is like old business, old news. If you from
Yeah,
the Bay Area, like something as obvious as like gay rights, you know what I mean, and like uh, maybe even some as obvious as gay rights and equality, but something as simple or not maybe as acknowledged as like Indigenous Peoples Day. Like,
yeah,
it's a lot of people
exactly.
that still hyped off Indigenous Peoples Day, but like I was introduced to this term in 1996 because the city of Berkeley was been off Columbus Day,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been repurposed it for Indigenous Peoples Day,
For
and
real.
so being from the area, I mean, being from the Bay Area, especially the East Bay in particular, what are some of the exciting things that you like that make you proud to even bring that into your artistry while everybody else, or not while everybody else is doing everything, but while a lot of these things have come to the forefronts of discussion?
This fly think I'm Mike Pence over here, bro. What the fuck is going on? God. Um, hmm.
Well, let me ask a different question. Let me ask, yeah, because that might be just like a whole different, that might just be a whole different sci-fi. And I think I already lightweight have asked you that. So let me actually get you to like share with me your transition from music and production into promotions. And you started like how you went from Rossi Mac, or how you went from Rossi Mac, how you chose the name Rossi Mac, and then how it led you to develop and build Fancy Footwork promo.
Okay, so name Rossi Mack, right? I grew up listening to, you feel me, probably small select few artists, you feel me. So one of them was Mac Dre, you feel me, of course. You feel me, like Sibo, um, Keek the Sneak. I listen to a lot of Bay Area artists and a lot of Sacramento
Oh
artists for
yeah,
the
let me
most
also,
part.
for the listeners, let me give some insight. Most people from the Bay Area, especially the East Bay, only listen to local rap. It's yeah.
I have flack, a lot of slack and flack at St. Mary's because, you know, a lot of them, not to speak on them, but a lot of them kids, you know what I'm saying, they come from nice upbringings and they live a certain life and they all want to listen to Jay-Z and listen to all the shit that's mainstream, basically. Like, if it ain't mainstream,
Right,
they didn't want to hear it, you know what I'm saying? At the time, they didn't want to hear about Steve O, or they didn't want to hear, you know what I'm
right.
saying? It was like, so I was always in my own little bubble with my music. You know what I'm saying? I had all the CDs. Like every time something would come out, I make sure I set aside at least $15 to $30 and go buy one or two CDs. You feel me? I go to Rasputin's and pick like 5 or 6 CDs and then have to narrow it down. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna get this shit like next time I come or whatever. You feel me? But shit. Basically, what was the question again? I'm kind of high, bro. Sorry.
I
Going
was
off on
getting you. It
tangents.
wasn't a question. It was getting you to walk us through the journey of Rossi Mack to Fancy
Oh yeah,
Footwork promo. Rossi Mack, the
exactly.
producer,
So
into
I was starting with
owning your promotion company.
okay. So what I was going for with the whole go back in the day Rossi thing. Rossi, that name came from a combination of, you know, the Mac culture. You feel me? Like we come from Oakland, the Mac. You feel me? I don't necessarily promote that type of lifestyle, although I might have in the past. You feel me? I really felt like, oh, the pimps and the players and the Macs is the cool ones. You feel me? Like I looked up to them before I looked up to the drug dealers and shit. You feel me? Like I'd rather look up to a pimp than look up to somebody who's selling dope. But it's, you feel me? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? You do what you do to make your money. But so basically the name Rossi Mac, um, I was drinking a lot when I was younger. You feel me? High school in particular, when I started going to Berkeley High, I was, you feel me, thought, oh, you feel me, drinking too much. You feel me? And it got to a point where I was drinking on the way to school. You feel me? Because me and Hassan, our first class was video production. So it wasn't like we had to go in class and really like be all attentive and paying attention for the first period. Actually, it was third period of the day or second period. So yeah, it was times when, you feel me, I would get up, get ready for school, leave a little bit early, and I would go to a particular liquor store that would sell me alcohol underage. You feel me? And I would get a bottle of fucking Rossi, bottle of Carlo Rossi wine. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Top of the line wine, Carlo Rossi. It was like $4. You feel me? And we have a blunt and a bottle of Rossi, and we go to the motherfucking go to the tennis courts, down the bottle of Rossi, and like, because if you had the cups that was this size, it was like certain size cups, right? It was like each of us would get like 2.5 cups. You feel me? And we just pour the cup, down that shit. Pour the cup, down it. You feel me? And then smoke the blunt walking to school. You feel me? So that's really where the Rossi name came from. Like, you know, always drinking Rossi and shit. Rossi Mac. Rossi, okay, yeah, Rossi Mac. I'm Rossi Mac then. Okay, fuck it. You feel me? It just stuck. It wasn't because I thought I was a pimp or I thought I was a player. It was, you feel me? That was just me. Mac Dre. I like Mac Dre. And drink Rossi. You feel me? And it just stuck after that. I just kept it. You feel me? And then
And now,
so basically the rap, the fancy footwork, right? So we had the whole the ghetto reserve going. We had ghetto reserve going from approximately 2003 to 2006, 7-ish. You know what I'm saying? And around 2006 and 7-ish, we parted ways, you know, differences, you know what I'm saying? But after that, I was kind of like, all my songs and all my verses that I had written for the most part was all on songs with other people. And at the time, you feel me, I couldn't be like, these is my songs, you feel me? So I kind of just let those verses go and really didn't have but like a few songs of my own that I didn't even like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, I'm gonna take a different route. You feel me? I'm gonna start teaching myself graphic design because I came up on Photoshop, I think, and so I started doing graphic design work and designing like flyers and stuff. So I was designing flyers for people, and you know, I had basically in Berkeley, it's a store called Rasputin Records. Now,
mm-hmm.
Rasputin Records on Telegraph Avenue was pretty much for a long time period like the mecca of music in the Bay
Oh
Area.
yeah,
Like,
oh
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah. Nah.
every major artist from like big labels like Jadakisses and stuff like that, they would all have their in stores at Rasputin's on Telegraph because it was 3 blocks from Cal Berkeley, and they love that market. Like they get Cal students, these students take their music back home to where they really from, and you know it was a good way to spread their music in that town and that store. So basically, I was going up to Rasputin's a lot, hanging out up there. Um, Meeting artists on the release day. So basically, on Tuesdays, albums would come out. So if you knew the schedule, you would know that on a Monday, if you went up there early on a Monday, you might catch any random rapper coming in there to put they box of CDs on consignment. So I would just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go up there and hang out and try to network and get some phone numbers. So I met a lot of people on Monday and Tuesday at Rasputin's. You feel me? Like, I actually went to the Jadakiss in-store and ended up with Jada brother's number. You feel me? On some, because that's his manager, and I was trying to finagle my way into something. Like, man, let me see what I
Yeah.
can do. You feel me? And got his number. Now I never used it, but the fact that I was able to get it, it woke me up in another way. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I just got this nigga Jadakiss brother. Like, you feel me? I talked to Jada, and he's like, yeah, talk to my brother. You feel me? So we go in the little hallway, and I'm talking to bro, and he's like, so what's good? You feel me? I'm like, I'm trying to, you feel me, work with y'all or something. Like, what's the line? And he gave me the line, but this was like, yeah, that was, I can't remember the name of the album, but it was, damn, what year was that? It had to be like 2008 or 9, whatever album Jada put out in that little time period. But yeah, so um, making flyers for people, networking with these artists. So when I would meet these artists, a lot of times they not only have CDs, but they'd have hella flyers and shit. So I'd be like, hey, I'll take some of those flyers to my neighborhood for you if you want me to. And be like, you know what? Yeah, bro. And they give me a little box, a little small box, and give me a couple copies of their album and the flyers and stuff. And it just kept on, snowballing from that to where I ended up working with a record label called Guerrilla Entertainment, and they were just putting out projects back to back to back. They were like a local Bay Area label for a minute. Um, from there, actually, one of my neighbors, he linked me up with somebody he knew that was starting a cannabis club. He was basically like, my boy, he do promotion, and you trying to start your cannabis club and make your cannabis club popular. And he basically offered me the bro, like, man, this is my boy right here. You feel me? Like he know how to do flyers, he know how to do this, he know how to do that. So you feel me? I ended up fucking with dude, and yeah, man, that was a crazy little roller coaster ride. Starting a cannabis club, you feel me? Because in the beginning, the shit was live. You feel me? Like, I mean, really, in the beginning, it was rough because everything was on me in terms of design and stuff. So I'll make the flyers, I'll make like pamphlets and shit, the brochures, and the only other person that was doing that kind of work was dude's wife. You feel me? So she would do most of the like the formal brochures and the formal stuff, and then I
Mm-hmm.
would do all the stuff that got like promoted. Like, so I would literally design everything from flyers to stickers to all that stuff, and then my other job was to take that stuff and scour it all across the Bay Area. So I had missions. You feel me? I'd go, had a good relationship, still got a good relationship with Copy World in Berkeley. I go up in there like twice a week, you feel me, picking up flyers, doing promo runs to San Francisco. So I hit the Mission District up. I go to all the evaluation centers where you would get your, back when you had to get a recommendation,
Mm-hmm.
you feel me, I go to all those places and drop off flyers at all those places anywhere in the area. So all the way from San Pablo and Richmond to East Oakland to San Francisco. Sometimes we try to go off in the East Bay, but like, that wall right there. So what you got, Arenda? You ain't really gonna go to Arenda too much.
Right.
Kind of kind of left that alone. But yeah, started off with a few people coming in there. It was like a little lounge, and we would spend most of the day. If I wasn't designing the flyers, I'd be trimming weed and shit. Like, it was like some real laid back hippie shit at first. And then once the promo started making shit roll and more people were finding out about it, it became like, oh damn, we got to step our game up. We got to be more professional. We got to do this. We got to do that. And this is all like the dude running and talking, right? Because mind you, we were like a kind of laid back lounge-ish club. You feel me? So time went on. The other main, we was on San Pablo Avenue off of University, and
Okay.
at the time it was like a little cannabis club war almost in Berkeley. So it was 3 other clubs besides us. We were the 4th club, and basically there were four permits in Berkeley for cannabis clubs. So only 4 clubs could have the permit, right? And 3 clubs had the permit. We were the one fighting for the 4th permit, right? So yes, some stuff happened. The
We'll
main club on
swipe past.
the main club, yeah, the main club in San Pablo called Berkeley Patients Group, which is the longest running, the oldest cannabis club in the country, BPG.
Mm.
BPG, they had a stint of about a year and a half where they shut down entirely. So, and mind you, they were the other club that was on San Pablo down the street. So when BPG shut down, imagine how business picked up where we was at.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
I think I remember that. That's the one that kind of looked like a greenhouse a little bit with all the glass.
It was above the pub.
Okay, no, I had it mixed up with another one on San Pablo. There was so many.
It was yeah,
That's
it
a
was
whole other.
it
That's
was
a
no,
whole other man.
it was glass on the bottom floor. On the bottom floor there was like a building, and then there was the pub, the little bar, and we was above it, so you had to go up the staircase. There was like a
Yeah,
little
no,
staircase.
I know for a fact I got it confused with the other one because there was another one with the gate, and it was
Oh yeah,
mostly
yeah.
glass.
That's the one. That's the BPG one.
Yeah.
So yeah, you feel me? Cannabis club thing. I do that for a while. Kind of get not pushed out, but kind of get downsized on. You feel me? Like I felt like the whole time I was there, I was treated like pretty much like a partner. Like you're not a partner financially, but you're one of the founding 5 people who was in here in the very beginning when wasn't nobody coming in here, when wasn't nobody having really no money. We just had hella trees. You feel me? So um, they ended up starting a radio station, and they brought on some new people because money flowing now, so they trying to start new companies and new stuff like that. So they started a radio station, and they bring in a few people to start the radio station, and you know they have somebody. They have my boy Hawk. Hawk Beach, rest in peace. He passed away a few months ago, actually. But they had Hawk take over the graphic design work, which I was cool with because he was actually had saucier graphics than me. You feel me? So I'm not finna hold back the brand if my graphics ain't up to par. Get somebody who does it better, and then I can focus on something else. So you feel me? They got Hawk and a couple other people. The other people was running the radio station. Now, mind you, you feel me? It's extracurricular shit going on, so people's money ain't necessarily right. So people's trying to downsize and cut corners and get rid of people because they feel like people
Oh
getting paid
yeah,
too much
it's a
money.
lot of that.
I'm
It
a
was a
founding
lot of that
father.
in that
I'm a founding
industry.
father.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot of that.
yeah.
So I had to step away, and at the time, basically the dopest thing that happened when I was working at that club was somebody that was coming in there patronizing the club, like he come in there and smoke in the lounge, and cool dude named Dave, right? Dave knew I messed with the music stuff, right? So he was like, "Hey Rossi, you trying to rent a studio space?" And I'm like, "Huh? Rent a studio space?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, I got a spot over on Gilman where I got my I do my video production. There's a room free in there right now." I'm like, "Whoa, you can't be serious." So you feel me? I end up paying him $225 a month for a small little room on Gilman Street, a block over from the Pyramid Brewery. You feel me? Right on 6th and Gilman. You feel me? So I got the little studio space while I'm working at the club. Um, and then that time goes by where I end up not working at the club no more, right? And the club was like the income I was paying for the studio with. Besides, like, because I wasn't really booking artists at that time. I was more so like in there trying to learn my way around my equipment and get better at my craft and stuff. You feel me? So stop working at the club. I'm doing the studio in the small room. I end up getting close with the guy because there's actually a bigger recording studio next door to me. When I'm in the
Hmm.
space, there's somebody with a bigger space next door to me that got a studio. His name was Troy, and it was Troy, Mr. Spearman, um, Brian. It was a few cats in there that had they record label / studio in there, and I got real close with Troy, and basically one day Dave pitched to Troy like I'm really trying to rent this room out to a friend who lost his place to live. You feel me? The room that I was in, right? So my room, my studio had basically you open up the gate. It's a small little room, but it had a vocal booth. So it was a door with a glass window and everything. So I had my own vocal booth, right? But the vocal booth was actually connected to their studio on this other side as well with a sliding door. So it was really like all one space. So what ended up happening was Troy was like, how about this, Rossi? How about I give you the keys to our spot and you pay us on the rent that you was paying in there, you just pay that to us and you can basically use this whole spot. So the one big room, the live room, which was huge, big enough to fit drums and shit, and then the vocal booth that I had before. You feel me? So instantly leveled up into a bigger lab, you feel me? And that's where I started booking a lot of people. Like, people was spreading the word like, hey, my boy got a studio if you need some place to record. So I was getting a lot of random phone calls and random people hitting me up like, let me book some time. And I'm wondering like, who even told you I had a, you know what I'm saying? Like, who even told you I had a lab? Like, you feel me? So yeah, the studio thing, um, that was that was that stretched from about 2011, 12 into 2013. So
Is that when
2013,
you formed the Fancy Footwork name?
actually, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. The Fancy Footwork name, that came from a bunch of different stuff. I used to play football. I'm not gonna say I was hella good or nothing. You feel me? I played football at St. Mary's and I was a cornerback. You feel me? So my thing was I always had to be in that squat position. You feel me? And I used to always have to do my footwork. You feel me? And I used to have these socks that I would wear when I was playing football. I'm surprised they let me wear them, but St. Mary's team colors was red and white. So for some reason I had on candy cane socks, bruh. I had on the red and white striped socks that came all the way up, you know what I'm saying? And now I just used to fancy footwork. It was a combination of the football thing, me having to have fancy footwork playing football, but also when I started really doing the promo thing, like it
Yeah,
was
because you
time.
got to be out there on your feet. You gotta get out there on the. You gotta hit the pavement a
Exactly.
lot.
Exactly. So that's really like, oh, fancy footwork, because it was times when certain events like outside lands. This is a little bit later on when I started doing promo for Lyft. You feel me? The corporation. So
Right.
that was a little bit later. But 2011 to 2013, no, hold on. 2007 is when Fancy Footwork, the name came. That's when I was like Fancy Footwork Promotions. That's when I started trying to make logos with that on it, saying Fancy Footwork Promotion. So that was right when Ghetto Reserve ended. I was like, I need to do something else. You feel me? So graphic design turned into Fancy Footwork. You feel me? On some like promo shit, like Fancy Footwork Promotions, because I'm making promotional stuff. And then it turned into me actually getting out and doing promo, like flyers. When I started getting flyers from people, or I would design a flyer for somebody and help them go get it printed up and give them the box, but I keep like maybe a third of the box, just on the strength. Like you get these flyers, I design them for you. Um, I'll take a third of the box and just put that in my little promo bundles when I go places and promote anyway. You feel what I'm saying? So people used to like that. Like I would just, you know what I'm saying? I didn't charge them nothing really. Like, you feel me? To where I figured eventually people would pay me for it, and eventually the first person to pay me for some promo was Juice from San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
rapper. He was the first. He's the first one to pay me. Like, bro,
Bullies with fullies.
yeah, bullies with fullies. Like where you at, bro? Like I'm in Berkeley over here off Whoop De Whoop. You feel me? He pulled up on me, gave me a box of flyers, a copy of the album, which was the Jay Stalin and Juice. What's it called? Elephants and Giants, Giants and Elephants. So you feel me? He was the first one to pay me for some promo, and then other people was kind of paying me lightweight. Like they shoot me like $60, $100 for a little stack of flyers to pass out. Cause I'll be on Telegraph anywhere. I'll be,
Right.
slide else anyway with some people. So, um, yeah, Fancy Footwork. 2011 to 2013 was the recording studio that I got from working at the Cannabis Club, right? So stopped working at the club. It was kind of rough, like trying to just scramble, right? Just scramble to I knew I had to make the rent every month now. You feel me? It wasn't like I had the job no more. You feel me? It was like, oh damn, am I gonna just have this be my job? So what ended up happening was, moms, and mind you, I was living in Central Berkeley. So
Mm-hmm.
down there by Berkeley High, and this studio that I was paying this rent for was way on Gilman. So I was either walking from Berkeley High to Gilman Street to go to my studio. I get up early in the morning and walk down there, or I'd catch the bus. It was one bus that would take you the 52 or something. If you would go up to University, it would take you down that way. You feel me? But I didn't like paying for the bus. Then I'll ride the bike sometimes. But yeah, mom started. You feel me? She was like, "Oh, you can't make the rent on the studio, huh? Here you go." Like, you feel me? She kept that alive. You feel me? A lot of people don't know that. Like, people be like, "Oh, nigga, this nigga got money. This nigga got a studio. You feel me? He high siding on bro. Like, I'm working trying to achieve a goal to get to a place. You feel me? Like, I didn't always have it. You feel me? That dollar store, the 99-cent store over there by the donut shop on Gilman. A lot of days in there, bro. You feel me? Me and my boy Skrills, man. Skrills, I met him through the cannabis club, but he's the older generation of big homies that all like my boy Patrick, my boy Nat. You feel me? He know my mom from teaching at Berkeley High School because my mom used to teach at Berkeley High. She was a teacher aide. You feel me? So a lot of people knew who I was, so they would look out for me because that's Miss Abrams' son. You feel me? Like. And then I started, the music started bringing people together because they all rapped. Like my boy Lil Larry and Skrills and Boss One and all them. They was all they had a group called the Cytoplasms. But in their day, like 94, 95, they was like interviewing Old Dirty Bastard and battling Pyro and shit. Like, you feel me? Like, that's all. They all cool now. You feel me? But back then it was like cytoplasms, high
Mm-hmm.
roll, board stiff, which was Equipto and Frisco, like all the different hip hop groups. You feel what I'm saying? So them was my big homies. Skrills, like, you feel me? When I was doing the studio, he was in there with me. I'd like to say damn near every day. Every time I was on the way to the studio, because his house was actually on the way to the studio. So there would be times he hit me like, "You on your way to the lab? Stop through the house." And I stopped through his house and we walked to the lab together. And sometimes we stay there till like 1 in the morning, you feel me? And then walk back on the super late night, you feel me? Um, it was times when I stayed in there overnight. I didn't do that too much, you feel me? Because I was simply respecting the space, the fact other people was there, you feel me? So I wouldn't do all the all-nighters and shit unless I was really trying to record people all night or record myself or some shit like that. But yeah, it was a lot of times, you feel me, when rent was due and motherfucker barely had it, you feel me? But, you know, yeah, that was 2013 when I let that studio go, because what happened was in 2012, I was like, man, I want to go to this audio school, right? I was trying to go to the SAE recording school in Frisco. But
Okay.
the thing was, because that would have been my first. So I got educated at DVC lightweight, but I was, like I said, that
Yeah.
time period, all like
No,
ninth
yeah, no, I
grade.
caught
We was out of it in that time. So
you. Yeah,
um,
definitely. I can relate. I was there.
so I'm
I
like,
was
man,
there. I was also there, not there with you.
yeah, so 2013 or 2012, I'm like, man, I want to go to this recording school. I applied for the recording school, and part of the thing about it, why I wanted to go versus going to the other one was Expression, right? Expression was like 80,000 to go to, right?
Yeah.
SAE at the time was like 26,000. Now, like I said, I'm not rich. I ain't got money like that. So, we doing the loan situation, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'd rather not go into debt $90,000. You feel me? So I'm gonna try this $26,000 thing, and they give you brand new MacBook Pro. They give you Logic, Pro Tools, Ableton Live. They gave me all the starting shit I needed to be like, oh, I'm back, got my own lab again, like portable lab. You feel me? They gave you interface and everything. So basically, 2012, I applied to go to the school, and they was like, nope, sorry, your credit's bad. We can't fuck with you, right? So I'm like, damn, you feel me? I'm like, I really wanted to go to that school, and you feel me? So I kept the studio, still doing that. 2013 rolled around. January 2nd, 3rd, right? I get a phone call from SAE, right? The school, they called me. dude James Cortez, my homie James VRZ, what's his name on here? Anyway, James, he called me and he was like, hey Brian, like guess what? Like you're eligible now. Like I'm like, for real? So you know how sometimes when you got bad credit or you have strikes on your credit, that 7-year period where it rolls over
Right.
after 7 years.
Yeah.
2013 was my 7th year for a
Okay.
credit card that I had done some dumb shit on when I first got a credit card when I was 18.
Say
So
less.
yeah, you feel me? So they like, yeah, you can go to school now. So um, May, April rolls around and I start doing the SAE shit. So I'm going to school in San Francisco. I got the studio on Gilman and I'm living in Berkeley. But I gotta pay monthly payments on the school still though. I still have to pay something. You feel me? So it was pretty much like, damn, I could either pay $250 to keep this studio and be not knowing how I'm gonna pay for the school shit, or I'm gonna just pay for the school shit and let the studio go because the school is a fucking studio. You feel me? The
Mm-hmm.
school got the SSL consoles and
Right.
the anointment mic, all the shit.
And
So I
probably
might
on
as
some
well.
level, it probably gave you another opportunity, like the DVC did, but to actually take advantage of it to a fuller capacity than you
I
might have
met
even been
a lot of people.
aware of. Yeah, nah, definitely. I mean, I can see that.
Exactly.
Uh,
I met a lot
so
of people there, like all my classmates. I'm I'm sorry, you breaking up, bro. It's like I said, I'm hella far away from the
no,
damn
it's all good.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no, it's all good. And I got a limit because they only give us a hour too. So
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
go
yeah,
on
yeah.
to the I want to go on to get you to acknowledge, or not acknowledge, but to shout out and sort of talk about, because you worked with me on a few of my releases, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
forever grateful. And you like one of the cats that I like, one of my first go tos when it goes to mixing and mastering.
I appreciate it,
Um,
man.
and I wanted you to shout out some of the folks that because you work with a lot of artists that, it's a couple of folks that I would have never have even come in contact with if not through you. And so I want you maybe take a space to kind of acknowledge some of the artists you working with currently, either on the promotional or the audio engineering tip.
Okay. Promotion wise, I say the most recent work I did. I want to shout out King George. King George from No Limit Records, right? He he been like living in the same neighborhood as me for a very long time. So I've known King George for a long time. You feel me? But more recently, when he found out I was doing like graphics and shit, he started like hiring me to do stuff every once in a while. Like he called my phone and be like, "Fancy Footwork, what's going on? Like I need you." So I just did his most recent cover because he was on No Limit Chronicles on BET. So he put together a project to release after that happened. You feel me? So he ain't released it yet. He put it on hold, but I did the artwork for that. I actually did I edited the DVD on there. Um, let's see who else. My boy Heavy Duty. Um, who else? Kayla Love. Shout out Kayla Love. Shout out Heavy Duty. King George. Um, really, I got to tighten this circle, man. Shout out Anyi Malik, man. You feel me? I don't mess with too many people right now, bro. Cause you
Nah,
feel me?
man.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a
I
lot going
definitely
on in my
appreciate.
world. So I'm kind of like, you feel me? I'm kind of on a house hermit crab right now. You feel me? Till I come out this shell. But
Well, I definitely appreciate, not only you working with me, but you also taking this time out today to even, break down your resume and pedigree in the industry. And I wouldn't have known, even though we've known each other as long as we have, I wouldn't have known a lot of this about you without this interaction and engagement. So I want to give a shout out and appreciation to you. And I got less than a minute. So like with
yeah,
this last minute, could you tell the folks, what project or where they can find you now and what they can look out for next within the next 30 seconds?
all right, man. I can't give up too much information because I'm really like I be wanting to put stuff out and I be putting it off. Um, I cashed out Zaytoven for a track, so I have some Zay shit in the works. The song is pretty much done, but I gotta actually put out music to build my buzz before I drop that, because if I put it out and don't get no buzz from it'd be a waste of money and time. So I'm being smart about that. But yeah, I'm just, you feel me, waiting on this new president. You know what I'm saying? Waiting on the
Well,
COVID-19.
in the meantime, they can catch you on Instagram at
Instagram
Fancy
at
Footwork Promo and Beats
Beats
by
by
Rossi.
Rossi.
And I want to
Exactly.
thank you for joining me, brother. I appreciate